Good morning everyone. Welcome to Tathastu ICS. I hope you all are doing good. My name is Pooja Sharma. I am your current affairs faculty and today I am going to take your DNA session. Right? So this is the QR code for your Telegram group so that you can access the PDF files of these DNA sessions. And this is the front page of your newspaper. Two important news are there on your front page. One is related to Manrega, MG and the second is related to the strategic partnership between India and Kuwait. They have improved their strategic partnership here, and Narendra Modi also got an important award from the Kuwait government. So we are going to discuss both of these news which are on your front page today. So good morning everyone who are online. So let's start today's discussion. So first let's discuss which important news we are going to do. These are the important certain events which are going to go here. You can go through the details. So new batches are starting. This is the mentorship starting on 10th of February and new foundation course and PSIR optional is also starting on 28th January. Those interested, please go through the detail. Let's start with our discussion. So these are the important articles which we are going to cover. 3 mains oriented article and other are prelims oriented article. Again, those which are the mains oriented article, that doesn't mean that UPSC cannot ask prelims related question from these articles. So if there are some technicalities or if there are some factual facts or there can be concepts also, so UPSC can ask that as well. And these are the purely prelims based news discussions. So the first is again from your front page, the relationship between India and Kuwait. It has actually elevated to strategic partnership. Very simple news, only few facts are there which you need to remember. The second is your important main article on your editorial page, that is the pie in the sky. Again this is related to the simultaneous election. Okay, and according to the article, this idea is a non-starter. It means you know that most of the time when we see the articles which are related to the simultaneous election, one of the most important challenge related to that is the federalism. That it is going to create challenges for federalism. The power of the state, the dominance of state can get reduced if simultaneous election can be there in our country. So this article is again repeating the same argument related to federalism. The third is related to what are the new interception rules and safeguard. This is related to the government's power to actually intercept your messages. Okay, not only the phone messages, emails also, and other kind of communication which goes between two people. So basically it is because of the security issue. Security, it means national security issue. Because of national security reasons, government do that. Now the government is changing the rules related to that. So this article is going to tell us about what are the changed rules, what were the rules before, what changes has been done, and what repercussions can be there. So what kind of necessary safeguard measures we can take so that we can have a proper implementation of these rules, right? Now there is very important article on your science page which is related to an important mission which is going to be your PSLV C60. PSLV C60 mission. The last mission was 59. Okay, and this is PSLV C60 and this is related to a important mission. So we are going to discuss. The name of the mission is Space DEX, Space DEX. It is actually related to the docking in a motion in our space. The meaning of docking is there are two satellites in the space. How can these two satellites get attached to itself, right? It is again a very important technological know-how how to do that. You have seen it in the movies also, especially if in web series and movies related to the space, you will see sometimes there is the spaceships. It is very difficult for the people to attach the spaceship to the another spaceship or the another satellite. Sometimes international space station is there and there is a important ship. Now there is a docking is going on. So docking means attaching these two ships so that there can be a transfer of human, also transfer of fuel also, other kind of important outcomes can be there if this technology is known by a particular country. So India will become a fourth country if India will be going to know about this technology. So we are going to have a demonstration of that technology in the space. So we are going to have it in the end of this month only. Then the second is related to Chile Kalan. So Chile Kalan is the 40-day harsh winter period in Kashmir. So we are going to discuss that. What is the significance of that? What is its significance in agriculture? How it is important for saffron harvest, and how it is important for the culture and heritage of Kashmir. So how the culture, the cuisine, the kind of the way they dress themselves, how it actually changed the moment the 40-day period of Chile Kalan is there. Then we are going to discuss about the Simal Tiger Reserve. This tiger reserve is in news because a 3-year-old female tiger cub actually wandered in the West Bengal. West Bengal is very near to the Simal Tiger Reserve, though this tiger reserve is in Odisha. Tiger reserve is in Odisha, but is on the border of the West Bengal, and we have found that. So that's why you should know where is the Simal Tiger Reserve, where is the exact location of it, and what are the other important tiger reserves of Odisha. So we are going to see that from the perspective of location. Then we are going to discuss about again the front page news of yours, which is related to MG-NREGA. Now the MG-NREGA funds has been restricted by the center when it comes to the Bengal government. That is why the Bengal government is writing the center again and again for the funds, because here in the MGNREGA the fund distribution is 19:10. So 10% is being given by the state and 90% should be given by the center government. Now the center from last many years is not providing any fund to the Bengal, which is actually affecting this particular program or scheme in the state. So that is the important issue. Now, so let's discuss this article. Other than that, there are two more important articles which I will tell you only the crux, and you will go through these articles. I will tell you the crux without any worry, but you need to go through these articles, right? So let's discuss our discussion. The first is related to India Kuwait elevate their ties to strategic partnership. It is not a big change that if there is a strategic partnership with some country, the very big change between the ties of two countries are going to happen. It is like, for example, there can be a simple partnership between two countries, then there can be a strategic partnership, there can be a special strategic partnership, can be the next step of this strategic partnership. So let's see what is happening. Actually, what are the key outcomes of the main key outcomes are related to the defense sector, right? So India and Kuwait actually have signed a memorandum of understanding on defense cooperation. This is what you need to understand, where they are going to have these exchange of defense personnel, joint exercise and supply of military equipment. Other than that, what are the other important outcome? Again the same. They elevated their bilateral ties to a strategic partnership. Now they are going to focus on defense. I have already told you. Other than that, there will be focus on energy also, and they are going to focus on IT, pharma and infrastructure security, etc. Other than that, let's look at the location of Kuwait as well, very important. So you know, here you can see the India, this is your Gulf countries, and here is Saudi Arabia, okay, and this is Iran. Between Iran and Saudi Arabia, you know, we have this Persian Gulf, and here we have Kuwait, okay. This is the part of Kuwait, kind of you can say that is submerged in the part of Iraq only. It has boundaries with Iraq also, and it has boundary with Saudi Arabia also. Other location in this region, this is your United Arab Emirates, this is your Qatar, and this is a very small island here is Bahrain. Again, you should know the location of Oman, Yemen, Iraq, Jordan, Syria, Turkey and Egypt. This very small country is your Israel and Palestine, where the conflict is going on, and above that Lebanon is there. Lebanon is also so much in news these days. So Lebanon is very important, Syria is also very important, Jordan is also very important. Again, this area is very important, and these small countries are very important from exam point of view. So UPSC can actually ask you, arrange these countries from left to right or west to east or east to west. So you should know that Kuwait is the westest part, it is in the west. Then from west we are going to east. Then after Kuwait there is Bahrain, after Kuwait there is Bahrain, and after Bahrain there is Qatar, and after Qatar there is United Arab UAE, you can say that. And then we have Oman. Oman, you will know that these are the countries where you can get confused. So please, you need to know the sequence of locational sequence of these particular countries. Now let's look at what other outcomes are there. One another important outcome is related to the to this fact that our Prime Minister actually received Kuwait's highest honor, that is known as Mubarak al-Kabir order. So he received this order, Mubarak al-Kabir. Okay, so mainly the differences between it is the first visit, it is our Prime Minister first visit to Kuwait, consolidate India's long-standing friendly relation with GCC. It means Gulf Cooperation country in general. So Kuwait is very important country in GCC, and this is the first time we are kind of having such kind of visit by our present Prime Minister. So again, there was not much important things was in the practical news where you need to understand the cooperation is mainly in the area of defense. Other than that, the cooperation is in energy, IT, pharma and security as well. Along with that, our Prime Minister got the highest honor of Kuwait, that is Mubarak al-Kabir order. And you need to know the location of Kuwait along with the location of the other country that are surrounding Kuwait. Now let's come to our second article. Second article is again related to the simultaneous election. We all know that there are two bills are there in the parliament. There are two bills. One is your 129th constitutional bill, amendment bill, and the second is related to the UTs, because you have to change the mechanism UTs as well. So there are going to be simultaneous elections, right? Now the article is saying that now these simultaneous election is based on this idea of one nation, one election, because we are a part of one election, one nation. So there should be one election only. The main reason for simultaneous election, why the government is pushing this idea so much, is that it is going to reduce the election expenditure in our country. But the opposition party and other critics are saying that government is actually proposing this simultaneous election because government wants to centralize the polity of our country. So there is a fear among the critics, among the opposition and among the states also, especially those far-flung states, for example in southern state. They don't want to compromise on their autonomy, right? But the important point is that before the moment the bill was introduced, then opposition actually demanded vote on the introduction of the bill also. And here, out of 263 vote, 98 were against. So we can say that if right now at this stage the bill is not being supported by 2/3 majority, that's why this bill has been transferred to the committee. Okay, a 39-member parliamentary committee is going to review the bill again. So after the revision of that bill, after the review of that bill, we are going to have the bill again in the parliament. Key provisions we have already discussed many times, but let's repeat them as well. First of all, a timeline that the elections are going to be there by 2034 is the time when the simultaneous election is going to be there, right? So simultaneous election will start from 2034. Other than that, there is a provision of mid-term election. What is the meaning of mid-term election? If a state assembly is dissolved before the 5-year term, for example, after 2 years an assembly got dissolved, then the new mid-term elections will be there. But the new government is going to be here only for 3 years. Not for a complete 5 years. Why is that? Because these elections were the simultaneous with the center only. Now here in the midterm election, we cannot have the center level election or the Lok Sabha election just after 2 years. We need to have this 5-year period, and this term is 3 years term because they want to align it with the next election of Lok Sabha. right? So this is the meaning of simultaneous election, and this is the meaning of midterm election, right? Now again, there is one another important point in this particular bill is that election commission's discretion. So what is this discretion? Let's understand this discretion in detail, because it is very important. Okay, we don't find much discussion about this discretion in our articles, but in this article it is, so I want to discuss it in detail. The thing is, if Election Commission of India think that, in the opinion of Election Commission of India, or we can say that if Election Commission of India's total discretion is there, so if Election Commission of India think that in a particular state assembly election cannot be held as a part of simultaneous election, so this is the possibility that Election Commission of India can decide that this is the particular state and the kind of circumstances are like that in the state that we cannot have a simultaneous election with the Lok Sabha. Then Election Commission is going to make recommendation to the President of India. If President issue an order to conduct election for the state assembly at a later date, then it can happen, right? So based on the Election Commission of India's recommendation, President can have an issue an order based on that a particular state assembly can have election later than the Lok Sabha election in that particular year. So here this is very important point. Here we can say the Election Commission still have that kind of discretion, right? So this is the meaning of Election Commission's discretion. Now again, what are the challenges related to that? Major challenge is related to federalism only. And what is this challenge? This challenge is that if there will be simultaneous election, the role of state is going to get reduced or diminish, right? It is going to diminish the distinct rule of governance at different level, and it is going to prioritize central authority. So central authority is going to overpower over the state authority, because whenever there is going to be elections, then the critics or opposition think that whenever there will be simultaneous election, people will think more about the central level or Lok Sabha election. They are going to make their state level election as a secondary option, right? So that is the issue. Other than that, for example, there is a state party and state party is active only in that state but not at the national level. When the campaigning will be going on in the state, because there will be a simultaneous election, then definitely the party which is in center, which has the more funds, more resources, is going to have a better campaign as compared to the state level party. And at the same point of time, state level party cannot have the kind of campaign at par with the national level party, so they won't be able to reach out to the people in a similar manner like they used to do before, right? So these are the concerns of the state. Now let's come to our next article. Next article is related to these important new rules related to the interception and interception. Along with that, the article is also going to discuss about what kind of safeguards we are going to have. Someone is saying, okay Ankit, regional agendas will suppressed. Yes, you are very much right. Regional agendas will be suppressed and the national level agenda are going to come into the scene. So what is the context here? Context is that recently in December 6, the government has notified these important rules: telecommunication procedure and safeguard for lawful interception of messages, rules 2024. According to these rules actually going to empower some of the enforcement or security agency which is being sanctioned by government only. Okay, so government can actually give positive, or you can actually have some enforcement security agencies can empower them that they can intercept phone messages under certain condition, right? And these rules are going to supersede the Indian Telegraph Rule, one of the rule of Indian Telegraph Rule 1955. So first let's understand what is the meaning of this interception. So that is also very important, very basic. So what is the meaning of interception? What are the interception rules? Interceptions rules are basically a legal framework. Legal means it is being sanctioned by the government at any level that governs the monitoring, capturing and recording of communication, any kind of communication. It can be a phone calls, it can be text messages, It can be emails also, it can be other electronic transmissions also by the government authority. So government can actually govern. Who is going to govern? Government is going to govern or monitor or capture or record the communication of these kind of things, text message, phone calls, emails or other electronic transmissions. And these rules are going to define who can intercept these communication, because communication is power. We cannot give authority, such kind of authority, in the hands of each and every official of the government, because this is actually kind of going to affect the right of privacy of the people also, right? Everyone has a right to privacy. Whatever text messages you are going to have your family, that is a very private conversation. So why the government has the right to look over those messages, but for the security reason? So what are the reason? What is the purpose of that? For the some kind of security reasons, public safety, or preventing certain kind of crimes, or during the emergency, government actually want to read these messages so that they can stop such kind of things. If some kind of crime is going on, by recording or by looking at the messages, government can actually identify where the crime is going to be there. If some kind of bomb threat is there, let's take it as an example, then by just looking at the messages, the government authority, the securities authorities can identify that what are the people who are going to be responsible for that. So we can have a preventive measure. So these interceptions rules are there for the security purpose only, right? But again, by doing that, we need to remember that right to privacy in our country is a fundamental right, right? So it cannot be misused. For this purpose, if we are doing that, then it is a good thing, but it should not be misused. How it can be misused? If we are going to put this such kind of power, it is a great power, in the hands of each and everyone, or without even thinking. So government need to have a proper rules who can actually access, or who can have access of such kind of communication of people. Yes, you are very much right, Nobadev. This is a seriously concerned right to privacy, but don't worry about that. There are so many safeguard mechanisms are also there, and it is not like that the government cannot do that right now. So rules are already there. We are just changing these rules. This is not the first time the government is saying that we can actually tap your phones or your messages or some other emails. This such kind of mechanism is already there in place in our country. Right now we are just changing that. Now what are these new rules? So let's understand what are these new rules. Now again very important for your prelims examination also. Now there can be a direct question in your prelims. Please mark it as a very important article today. So which competent authority can actually have access to messages, right? So Union Home Secretary and the State Home Department Secretary, or you can say that secretary level at the national level secretary and the state level secretary, they are authorized to order interceptions first of all. Other than that, if there are some unavoidable circumstances, then a union government officer, which should not be below the joint secretary level, he also can issue such orders. So who can issue such orders? Home secretaries at national and state level. But if there is an unavoidable circumstances, then there can be an additional official also who can order, that is the any official which should not be less than joint secretary rank, right? So his rank should be equivalent to joint secretary in any kind of organization. Even if the organization, for example, is DRI, then there also we need to have an official whose rank is equivalent to joint secretary. It's not the only joint secretary can do that. Someone whose rank is at par with the joint secretary, they can also issue that order, but only under unavoidable circumstances, which are again not defined right now. Okay, in this rule it is not defined what are unavoidable circumstances. Again, the central government can authorize any law enforcement or security agencies. So this is the first thing, which is the competent authority. But other than that, central government can authorize any other agency also. For example, right now you can say the National Security Agency, NSA, can do that, but government can give the same power to RAW also. Government can give same power to some other security agencies also to intercept messages for reasons outlined under the Telecommunication Act 2023, which was there last year. So according to Telecommunication Act 2023, in certain circumstances only this is defined. These are defined, but these unavoidable circumstances where joint security level official can intercept the phone call, it is not defined. Now there is another provision, another change when we talk about some kind of remote area. Okay, if there is some remote area where the Home Secretary, which is sitting in Delhi, is not able to do interceptions, but about in that certain kind of cases of if there are some issues which are related to the operational issue, in those circumstances what the government can do, then head or second senior most level head can be authorized to have interception order both at center as well as state level. For example, there is a district in Arunachal Pradesh in a very remote area. So how can government have interception there? There the interception can be done by an official which is kind of a head level officials or second senior most level. If the head is not there, then the second level. So he can also do interception in such kind of cases. Other than that, one important another change is that if within 6 months, if interception records must be destroyed every 6 months, right? So destruction of those records has to be there. Why? For example, a government authority right now intercepted a conversation between two people. Then that conversation is being used to prevent certain kind of crime. So there is a gap of 6 months only. So within 6 months, government need to act on that. Even if they want to produce it in the if they want to produce it in the court, only then they can save it more than 6 months. Other than that, they have to destroy the intercepted messages within 6 months, because if we are going to store those messages, then there will be some authority who will be responsible for storing those messages, which is very important data. So we cannot store them for a longer period of time, because if we are going to store for a longer period of time, there are high chances that they are going to get leaked and the privacy of the people can get affected. Now how these new rules are different from the previous rule. First is related to the relaxation of conditions. Now there is a prerequisites of emergent cases when it comes to remote areas and operational reasons. Earlier there were only this phrase was written when it comes to emergent cases. Any authority at a local level also could intercept, but right now they actually have they cleared it in a much better way. They actually mentioned the micro things, the macro words. So now it is actually better. So the conditions are kind of relaxed. Other than that, limit on authorized officer. Earlier there was no cap on the number of officials which could intercept at a state level, but now there is a limit. Now only head or second level head will be authorized to do interception. Other than that, usage of unconfirmed interceptions. So if there are some messages which are without the confirmation of a higher authority, then within 7 days, they can be used within 7 days, then they cannot be included as a court evidence. It means the messages intercept without confirmation within 7 days cannot be used for any purpose. If there is no confirmation from the higher authority, for example, there is an authorized officer at local level and it is local area is very remote area. In remote area, the local authority, the head of that area has intercepted some messages. But now the higher authorities at central level or the state level, they actually did not confirm the interception. If the interception is not confirmed, then they can actually keep it for a 7 days only. They cannot use those messages after 7 days. This is what is written. This is what is new in this particular rule as well. Now, what are the concerns related to rule? Obviously, the concern is related to the privacy of citizen, the main concern. So they are saying that there are some kind of accountability issue because the rules, these rules actually lack any kind of punitive actions. If the agencies are going to misuse the interception, what if an official is going to misuse those interceptions? So what are the penalties related to that? So these particular rules are not covering those penalty, right? So if there is no penalty, then we can say that there is a big accountability issue also, and it can create fear among the people as well. Other than that, conditions are bit relaxed as compared to the last time, because now earlier the cases were emergent, but now they have actually, so emergent says if there is an emergency kind of situation, but now they are saying that if there is a area is a remote area, or if any kind of operational reasons, the local head of a particular area can also intercept. So actually they have given this power in the hands of many people now. Other than that, there can be a potential misuse, especially at the same point. If there is no accountability, without any accountability, there are higher chances that such kind of interception, such kind of information can be misused by the official. If not by the officials, we live in a technical era, so they can be leaked from some other measures or technical issue as well. So this was all about our article. Now let's come to our another article that is related to science and technology. So very interesting article. So there is a new mission which is going to be there, the next mission of Indian Space Research Organization, that is ISRO. So what is going to be there in this particular mission, that is SpaceX. So you can pronounce it as SpaceX. So in the SpaceX, the two satellites are going to go into the demonstration satellites are going to go into the space, and they are going to demonstrate the technology of docking and undocking while in motion, right? Docking, again, what is the meaning of docking? For example, this is International Space Station, let's say, and this is a small spaceship. So that spaceship want to get attached to the ISS, International Space Station. So how can they do that? So they need to attach themselves very carefully. So this is again a technique, and again it should be in motion. This particular satellite is also in motion, and this is also in motion. So while in motion, how can two bodies, two object or artificial object that are in space, they can get attached to each other? Why this kind of attachment is needed? This attachment is there so there can be a transfer of fuel, transfer of human also, right? So again, this technology is going to be essential for what? Why we are demonstrating? What is the meaning of demonstration? Actually, we are going to have a trial in the space that can we do such kind of docking or undocking or not, right? So why this technology is being demonstrated in the space? Because it is going to be essential for our Bharatiya Antariksh Station. Actually, we have this idea of Bharatiya Antariksh Station at par with the International Space Station. Like there is an International Space Station of NASA in the space, there is an International Space Station of Russia as well. So China, I guess China as well. So like that, we are also going to have a Bharatiya Space Station in the space, but if we are going to utilize that, such kind of technology, we need to know. So because of that also, only we are going to that. If we are going to be successful in demonstrating such kind of technology, then we will become the 4th country in the world to have such kind of program, right? Again, now these are the two satellites, right? So this is going to be the chaser and this is going to be a target. It means this satellite will try to attach to the target only. Again, it's a very demonstration only. Again, which vehicle is going to be there, which is going to take these two satellites into the space? That is PSLV C60 mission. So it will be PSLV C60 mission. Again, the docking will be SpaceX's primary objective. So the moment the docking and undocking is done, and we will successfully demonstrate this docking and undocking, after that there is a secondary purpose also, this satellite. So what is the secondary purpose or secondary objective? So the satellite, when we send into the space, they don't only have one objective, they can have multiple objectives also, but this is the primary objective. Docking and undocking, it means attaching two satellites, attaching to each other, and they are getting separate from each other. So this is the primary objective. Secondary is the transfer of electric power between the docked space craft. For example, these two docked spacecraft, they can actually transfer the electric power also. Can it be possible? Why do we need the transfer of electric power? If we are going to have, we are living in an era where the robotics and artificial intelligence is going to improve only, right? In that point of time, robotics and artificial intelligence needs electric charge, right? So they need electric power. So how can the transfer of electric power can also be there? So this is going to be the secondary objective of this particular space mission. Again, the first is going to be the docking and undocking process only. I hope you understood what is the meaning of docking and undocking. That is important. Again, the PSLV C60 mission, it is going to be, that is also important, and name of the project is also very important. Now let's come to our next important news, that is related to your Simal Tiger Reserve. So what is there? Just give me a sec. So actually the context is very simple. The context is related to there a 3-year-old tiger actually strayed in Purulia district of West Bengal. You need not to remember the name of the district, you just remember what actually happened. So a particular 3-year-old cub was wandering from the Simal Tiger Reserve. This is the location of Simal Tiger Reserve and Wildlife Sanctuary. So it is very near to the border of Odisha. This is the map of Odisha, if you can see that. And here we have West Bengal, right? This is West Bengal. So the cub was actually wandering into the West Bengal area. Why? Because West Bengal also we have this forest area here. Which forest is here? Which, can you tell me? Yes, Sundarban are there. Sundarbans. And it is also, Sundarbans are also famous for tiger, which we say Bengal tiger. So Sundarban is also famous for tiger. So that cub was actually wandering around. So why it is that? Because the region, that is the Simal Tiger Reserve, don't have sufficient prey base. Because these tigers don't have anything to eat, there is no prey. How are they going to survive in this particular area? So how we found that? Because there was a radio collar fitted on the neck of the tiger. That's why we found that a tiger actually wandered from Simal Tiger Reserve to the West Bengal area. So here the location of Simal Tiger Reserve is also very much important. Along with that, you need to know there is another tiger reserve important in Odisha, that is Tathastu Tiger Reserve. Very, very important. One, Simal you need to remember, then Tathastu is also very important. Other than that, you will find two adjacent wildlife sanctuaries. This is Bhitarkanika, again very important, and this is your Gahir Matha. This is very important for your olive ridley turtle, right? So olive ridley turtle actually come here on a seasonal basis for nesting purpose. So again there is another wildlife sanctuary in Odisha, Nalaban Wildlife Sanctuary. This is also very important. Okay, so whatever Tathastu, Gahir Matha, Bhitarkanika, Nalaban and Simal Tiger Reserve, these are the important protected area of Odisha. Now, let's understand what is this another important news that is related to the, actually there was a image in the Hindu newspaper. Simal Tiger Reserve in West Bengal. No. Simal Tiger Reserve is not in West Bengal, it is in Odisha, right? Okay. Exactly. It is not in West Bengal, it is in Odisha. In West Bengal, we have Sundarbans, right? Now, the title of the image is warming up. So, people burst firecrackers near the Dal Lake in Srinagar Sunday because they mark the start of the Chile Kalan, a 40-day period of harshest winter in Kashmir. So, it's actually normally it starts from December 21. December 21, what is the another significance of December 21? Who will tell me? So December 21 is actually considered as the where we have the longest night. So longest nights are always there on the December 21. It will start from the December 21 and it will be there till the end of the January. So it can be 29th January, sometimes it is 30th January as well. So this is a 40-day period. It's a 40-day period. So this 40-day period is actually the harshest winter in Kashmir, right? And why it is very important, this extreme cold and snowfall? Because it is very important for the harvest of the saffron in the area. Other than that, there are traditional or cultural importance of Chile Kalan also. The moment there is a harsh winter in the Kashmir, the dressing sense of the people of Kashmir, like the special kind of the dresses like firan, so they came into the scene. Other than that, the food habits, the food cuisines of the Kashmiris also get changed, right? Other than that, there are some phases of winter in Kashmir. So this is the first phase of winter in Kashmir, that is known as Chile Kalan, that is a 40-day period, right? This is the harshest winter. After that, after the January, in the start of the February, from 1st to the 20th February, there is Chile Khurd, then there is Chile Bacha, right? So it is the moderate cold. Then after that, in the last 10 days of February will be considered as the less severe cold, or you can say that the last of the February, 20 to 28th, right? Now this is very important word which you need to remember from UPSC's point of view. Actually, it is mentioned in your NCERT also. Now let's come to another news that is related to MG Narega. Okay. So what is the context here? The context is half of the MG Narega site inspected in Bengal showed flaw. That is the RTI's reply. Actually, what is the context here? Context is there from the last many years, okay, nearly 3 years. The central government actually held the funds which it has to release to the West Bengal for MG Narega. MG Narega, you know that what is MG Narega? Is a guaranteed employment guarantee scheme by the government, where the government gives the 100-day employment to a adult person in a rural household. So this is about MG Narega, and the most of the fund is being given by the central government only, that is a 90%. Only 10% is to be borne by the state. But right now in West Bengal, from last 3 years, that 90% share by the central government is not going to get released. So that's why, and West Bengal government actually wrote the central government many a times, but again there was no reply. Then the ITI was filed. So the Right to Information Act can the, so there is an answer of that RTI. So what is written there? It is written that because why we did that, why the government has stopped the funding of Bengal MG Narega funds of Bengal. They are saying that because there were so much fraud. So they actually inspected 63 work sites, and they are saying that out of this 31 sites showed significant flaws, right? So there were faults, those sites were not constructed properly. So this was the reason of the central government, right? Now, why is section 27 of the MG Narega? So central government can do that. Can central government withheld the funds of MG Narega and not to give it to the state or not? So is it like that? Yes. Under section 27 of MG Narega Act, it is written that the center can withhold the funds for irregularities, right? But this is not the only thing that is written that. It is also written that if there need to be a remedial reasons, okay, you cannot hold the funds for 3 years. Immediately within a reasonable time frame, the central government need to have a certain kind of remedy so that the funds can be transferred again. Now because of the freezing of these funds, there are so many people who are being affected in the West Bengal. So this is the issue. Now let's understand, let's have some basics about MG Narega also. MG Narega is a social security and rural development program which is under a particular act of 2005, which is also known as MG Narega Act only. It came in 2005. What is that? It is a guaranteed 100 days wage employment, right? In the financial year to every rural household. Actually, it is a rural employment. Always remember that it is a rural employment. So employment will be there, but only to a rural householder, and that householder has to be adult, and it is not about the skilled work, it is about the unskilled manual work only. Then employment must be provided within 15 days of application. If within the 15 days of application government could not provide employment to an adult person in a rural area, then the person is entitled to unemployment allowance also. So that's why the government needs so much fund if the government needs to operate MGNREGA. Other than the funding is the 90% and the 10%. Now, so these were the articles which we discussed today. Other than that, there were other articles also which were important in our today's newspaper. Both were on your, one was on your editorial page, another was on your text and context page, right? No, both were on editorial page only. Both were on the editorial page. So one is related to the global warming fight has challenges for India. So let me tell you the crux of this article. The crux is that actually the article is by D.P. Srivastava. He is actually criticizing the outcome of the conference of Party 29. He is saying that India and the China, both of them have their net zero emission target deadlines by 2070. Now he is saying that 2070 is very far. Now the European Union and there are so many other organizations which are going to put pressure on these developing countries to change to the clean energy. So right now most of the energy we are using is the coal based, which is not considered as clean energy. But why we are doing that? Because we are in a developing phase. We need to utilize those resources, because if we cannot shift completely to the clean energy, because clean energy is not a very cheap energy, it is a very costly energy, but the countries like India, we don't have that kind of resources, then we shift that completely to the net zero emission or the clean energy. That's why we had this target of 2070, that by 2070 what we can do, we can actually have that kind of resources that we are completely switched to clean energy, but right now it is not possible. So this is again also discussed by the author is saying that countries' need for electricity growth, particularly from clean sources, clashes with the cost and land constraint for the renewable energy. We don't have the kind of cost or the resources and the lands that we can shift to the clean energy. Also he is going to highlight that, so what can be an important alternative. So he is saying that don't rely so much on solar or wind energy because it is very costly. Please rely on the nuclear power. Nuclear energy right now can be the best possible solution for us. So this is the crux of this article. Please read the article also. Again, this crux I have already given. The another article is also very important, very interesting article. I want you to read your article by yourself. Crux is that it is related to the Assisted Reproductive Technology Act 2021 and Surrogacy Act. The government the article is saying that there is an absence of some clear provisions related to a particular issue which was cited in the article. Can we have such kind of provisions after the death of a person or not? So please read this article from your newspaper only. Now let's do some questions. So this is your first question. Please read the question. So it is about, consider the following statement regarding the SpaceDX mission by the Indian Space Research Organization. So the statement 1 is, the mission involves demonstration of technology for docking and undocking in motion. Again, in motion. It is not the stationary docking and undocking, because that would be very easy. It's the because these satellites are going to orbit the earth also. Okay, so these two satellites are going to orbit the earth, and while only in motion they are going to have demonstration of this docking and undocking, right? Now, so it is in motion and docking. Yes, the statement is very much correct statement. Now second, if successful, then India is going to become 4th country globally to achieve in space docking capability. This is also correct. Third is, the SpaceDX mission will be launched abroad GSLV rocket. Is it correct or not? No, this is not correct. It is PSLV. What is the difference between PSLV and GSLV? Please tell me also. Okay. This is polar satellite launch vehicle. This is geostationary satellite launch vehicle. First, there are different orbits. Okay. this is at a very high level in the space. Second, the kind of satellite which we send through these different rockets are also different, right? So you need to tell me what kind of satellite are there which need GSLV rocket. So what is the answer? Yes, answer is B. How so many of you have given the correct answer? So good. Let's come to our next article, next question. Next question is again your previous year question of 2011. Very easy question, right? Again, among the following, who are eligible to benefit from the MG Act? So the first is adult member of only the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe household. The second, adult members below poverty line, adult members of household of all backward communities, and adult member of any household. So what is the answer? Answer is D, adult member of any household. But again, UPSC can ask you a member of rural household. This is actually understood because the rural employment guarantee scheme. So rural word was already there. That's why it was not mentioned. Okay. I hope you gave correct answer to both of your questions. So very well done. So this was our today's discussion. I hope you understood all the article. What you need to do now, you need to read the newspaper also, and especially those articles which I have mentioned, you need to go through. Especially the second one. First one, crux I have already given you. Second one, you please go and read as well. So thank you so much. Have a very nice day and please do study as well.